Welcome back. You are watching the former president's plane take off, heading up in the air and heading back to his home state of New York. Certainly not the kind of homecoming that he had ever imagined when he went back from Florida to New York, but he is heading back on a historic flight. Again, not necessarily a part of history that Donald Trump or any former president would want to make, but nonetheless, that is exactly what he is doing and one that he is trying to make the most of, going back to face justice and to face a prosecutor who will formally unseal an indictment that has already been voted on and filed against him in the state of New York.
Gold, ladies and gentlemen, at AMTVGold.com. While you still can, I believe this will triple this year. We just broke, congratulations, $2,000 an ounce. And I think we're going much, much higher on the OPEC cuts, the sudden announcement, the circus act that's happening with Trump. And I'm going to get into all these stories and more here at AMTV. That's AMTVGold.com. Ladies and gentlemen, this really is a clown show. This is a circus act, and I believe this is a part of the deep state demoralization plan, which is why they're going to pander Trump and arraign him and indict him. And he's being arrested today. Again, this has never happened before in history. And by the way, you know, we need to pray for the country, whether or not you like Trump or not. Let's just pray for the safety of America. And let's pray for the safety of Trump as well, because, you know, if anything happens to him, any kind of miscellaneous event, you know what I mean? We know who did it. We saw what happened with JFK. And speaking of JFK, how come Democrats didn't care that JFK was sleeping around with people like Marilyn Monroe and countless others? We had Bill Clinton deny the allegations, which we know he was lying. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. There was the stained dress. But somehow, this is my opinion, a bimbo in the name of Stormy Daniels, of which Trump denies the allegations, is bringing down America. It sounds like deep state agents from inside that are compromised are trying to destroy America, in my humble opinion. This is April 3rd, 2023, and this is dire times. It's why you should get gold. You need to get out of cash. Cash is trash. Do that at AMTVGold.com, and let's get into this news and a whole heck of a lot more. So here we have the very stunning images of Trump's plane leaving, I believe, Florida to a lot of drama. And again, the mainstream media is just blowing this up out of proportion. MSNBC and CNN, what people call the fake news, and Fox News, even at this point, many Republicans and people on the right think they're compromised as well. The whole system is compromised. And again, just very, very eerie. I got dozens of texts this morning from friends and family that were like, God, I've got a really bad feeling about this. I think something could happen to Donald Trump. And I have a couple questions too. I'm going to kind of remain unbiased here for a minute, although I think you know my opinion on this. Do you think that there would be civil unrest if former President Barack Obama was arraigned and dragged in by like his collar, so to speak, like Trump is right now, to a circus act and then indicted and arrested in New York City? Do you think that there would be peaceful protests? And are we going to get that with Trump in New York City? Because it's almost like they want this to happen. Like they're trying to conjure up this division. And this is what you need to understand about this. I wouldn't even focus on what's going on in the left-right paradigm system. Let's talk about the real story on how they're destroying your currency and how OPEC, with a surprise cut, giving a giant middle finger to the United States of America after years of supposedly being our ally, after all the failed wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and the countless lives lost and the trillions of worthless dollars spent blowing out our debt, which is also causing hyperinflation, is another reason you should buy gold at AMTVGold.com while you still can. And now they're saying, you know what? We don't care. We're protecting ours and our own, and we are aligning with Russia and China and Iran. So all of America's enemies, as we've been told over our whole lives, all of you baby boomers, people my age, all of it has suddenly changed. So oil prices are now soaring, about to reach, I think, new records very soon, up as much as 8% on the open after OPEC Plus announced it was slashing output by 1.16 million barrels a day. Now notice OPEC had to add that plus sign because, you know, everyone's woke now, guys, OPEC Plus. It just couldn't have been OPEC. And these cuts fly in the face of the American regime at this point. So expect 100 plus barrels of oil. Expect food and energy and housing, like I've told you guys a million times, to keep skyrocketing much higher because you've got to trust this plan. The plan is to reset the system through a stagflationary, hyperinflationary collapse where you can't afford anything. Okay, this is what they want. This is what you need to understand. And then they can transfer you to the new crony system of CBDCs in a failed state of UBI and socialism here in the United States. And this is why I keep telling you, buy gold, buy Island Project, get out of the banks, as 5 just collapsed in recent weeks, and more are going to collapse. But this is the real story no one wants to talk about, how we are at war. And by the way, guys, are you honestly expecting World War III to look the same as World War I and World War II? Wars evolve. They change like people with technology. World War III, which is being fought now, is a technological war. It is an AI war, which is why they're introducing ChatGPT. It is a biological war, and I won't even give more details. I think you know what I'm talking about here. That's the new war. Why do they need to move troops and do a blitzkrieg like we've seen in the past during World War II when they could just shut down the entire economy and lock everyone in their house and then reorganize the entire natural resource system of food, energy, water, housing, and everything that they need without essentially firing a single shot? That's a lot smarter, and it preserves the island that the elites want to preserve for themselves as they transfer all the wealth to themselves, which I've been telling you over and over again since 2008 and 09, which was an inside job, rigged job, and so was everything else, and everything that's currently happened. This is their plan. This is their escape plan, and this is what they're doing. And what you need to do is get out of the dollar, form communities like the Island Project. You need to vote with your wallets. You need to stampede out of the system that is corrupt and dark and doesn't even like you and discriminates against people, and stand up for yourself. And then get those cash flows going up 1,000x, ladies and gentlemen, with us. So, you know, I can harp on this over and over again, but again, the evidence and the proof in the pudding is so strong here. Home prices suddenly jump. Yeah, how about them apples? I told you that that was going to happen. China is urging our ally Japan not to back us anymore. And maybe they will turn on us, frankly. Why would any country stick with the United States when it's a failed state? When Biden can barely speak and read a teleprompter, yet alone not fall over on an airplane or on his bicycle, which happens all the time, and they're parading Trump like a Barnum and Bailey circus freak act. Why wouldn't you bail? Of course people are going to bail. This is why Americans have been bailing in record numbers and seeking outside citizenship outside of the United States, which you should do. You should have multiple passports. You should have multiple locations. This is why we're geolocationally diversified with the Island Project. Again, it's a solution to everything that's going on because I already know how this is going to turn out. We already know where all this is going, and this is a part of the PSYOP. The conditioning process, you're even seeing it in podcasts today that are really popularized, like, well, yeah, I mean, what if China takes over the world and America takes a back seat? That's all a part of the psychological mind control warfare for you to accept the defeat of America while no one does anything. Well, we're standing up and we're doing something here at islandproject.com with gold, with silver, with our communities, with our churches, supporting each other in like minds and actually doing something different instead of just complying with what all these people are doing. And I encourage you to do that as well. I mean, even McDonald's, which in my opinion, I got to say that, is famous for causing an epidemic of obesity and cancer and heart attacks and all these kinds of problems, is even closing its corporate offices and announcing record layoffs. I mean, if McDonald's can't get it done with profitability, honestly, we know it's far gone at this point. This is why big tech has been firing tens and tens and tens and tens and tens of thousands of people. I told you you wouldn't be working remote. That was a code word for you're going to get a pink slip. And this is why I encourage you to go into business for yourself and create your own cash flows and get outside of the system and outside of the dollar into things that are decentralized that you control, like islandproject.com, like gold, like any of those things that are actually tangible. I mean, even Rolexes, ladies and gentlemen, are far more valuable because at least you're carrying your wealth with you outside of the system before capital controls and financial lockdowns, which is absolutely going to happen again. This is what is coming next. So all the prices of everything that you care about will continue to skyrocket. The dollar is going to continue to be devalued. They're going to continue this circus parade act like they're currently doing. This is a very, I don't know, body image. I wasn't planning on seeing there. It's funny, the memes that we've got going on here. There we've got Mr. Xi, I guess, putting down a little bit of whatever, his Chinese renminbi yuan. By the way, this is the first time that more trade, Russian international trade of oil, I saw this earlier, is being done outside of the US dollar. Now keep this in mind, the US government and their sanctions forced this. They want this to happen. This was the intention of our politicians in Washington, D.C. to force this change because, again, in my opinion, we've been compromised for a very, very long time, ladies and gentlemen. So Trump's lawyers believe that he's going to be gagged, stuffed like a freaking turkey on Thanksgiving dinner. He's not even going to be allowed to speak. They're going to take away his freedom of speech. We know that this guy, acting Supreme Court Justice, who I think has ruled against Trump before, doesn't like him. These are political attacks. Whether or not you like Trump or not, who even cares? Again, you should care about the war. You should care about the devaluation of your currency, the devaluation of your life, liberty and freedom, and what's in store for your kids is going to be a train wreck unless we organize in meaningful ways right now. China, Russia, Iran holding joint naval drills in the Gulf of Oman. Top U.S. generals warning that increased partnerships between Iran, Russia, and China will make it problematic for years. So here's my point, guys. This is the World War III. It's not going to be fought like World War I and World War II. Yes, we're going to see on-the-ground casualties like Ukraine in these engineered, pre-planned proxy wars that I also warned about years in advance. Yes, there will probably be a tactical nuke, God forbid, event going to happen. Yes, the grid's going to go down. They want the grid to go down for a little bit so they can fear-monger you into the new system of controls. They're going to have expiries on CBDCs where you're going to have to spend it so that they can promote basically the supply of currency hitting the market. Money velocity is the word I'm looking for. They're already rolling this out in China. And guess who's exactly like China? This country. The United States of America, and the whole westernized world, especially Europe, backing a failed and very unpopular war that is costing us billions, if not trillions, that nobody wants, that also assures the collapse of the dollar. So this is where we're headed. Worst times ahead. End times, ladies and gentlemen. A freaking clown show. A Barnum and Bailey event, which is why you need to buy gold today at AMTVgold.com. That's AMTVgold.com. Get what you need. Get these Archangel Michaels. Get our sovereign mints. Get the 1 ounce coins. Grab as many as you can before oil embargoes and other embargoes start. I'll tell you what they're going to attack next. They're going to attack the supply chain just like they've been doing in recent years. Yeah, we're already sold out in the 2022s above my head because everyone's buying them and realizing you're not going to be able to get this stuff. And this is honest to gosh, the truth. You need to get these American Silver Eagle coins now. You need to buy this stuff. You need to get them in gold. Add them to your portfolio of inventory. Gold's a little more expensive, but you can carry a lot more with you without stacking tons of silver. I like silver too. It's very undervalued, but think about that in terms of weight. And the weight that you're going to have to hold when you're buying, 5-10% of your total diversified net worth into gold and silver, which, not financial advice, I've always recommended at AMTVgold.com. That's AMTVgold.com. But you need to think about these things moving forward. There's going to be chip shortages, all electronics, computer systems, the car parts. This is going to be the next war game, okay? And it's going to start with China probably forcing some kind of embargo like we had prior to Pearl Harbor and the Japanese attacking us with same kind of embargoes. So it's going to be a technological embargo that's going to affect that chip supply, which is why we're trying to manufacture them very quickly and ramping up production and manufacturing that's been exported overseas back into the United States. Because again, we've been exporting our real wealth for years, and now Americans want to know why they're broke. They want to know why their cost of living is so high. It's hilarious, isn't it? They want to know why they don't own anything. They want to know why the billionaires own all the farmland, because they bought all of it. They took everybody out. People complied, and they gave them the land, or they sold the land, and now everybody's scrambling trying to get it back. So, this is just the trajectory of the new multipolar order. So you're going to be conditioned and brainwashed towards this, but I'm just telling you, get out. Get out of the system now before it's too late. Get the gold. Get the AMTV Archangel Michael 1 ounces. While I still got them, I'm going to sell out of these today. Add 10 if you can, if that's within your budget. Add 1 if that's within your budget. Add 3 if that's within your budget. And I also want to hear what you think What do you think is going to happen next? I mean, this is a parade, guys. This is a parade of Donald John Trump. He's going to be gagged next? What? Could you imagine if this was done to Bill Clinton or Barack Obama or even Joe Biden? It would be treated completely differently. But again, that's the double standard currently within the political system today. In the media, which is biased, which all the Fortune 100 that is biased, and everyone else is completely biased, in my opinion, working against freedom and liberty for all people, regardless of who you are, regardless of your political viewpoints, regardless of your job or career or family status or anything like that. I mean, freedom is about freedom. And I don't think we have it anymore, quite frankly. It's gotten bad. Get your gold now. That's AMTVgold.com. That's AMTVgold.com. And share this video far and wide. Fight evil on behalf of yourself and the liberty movement by standing your ground and getting out of trash cash. Vote with your wallets before the hyperinflationary collapse continues, which is exactly what it's going to happen, and it's not going to be fun, and you're going to feel a lot better and sleep a lot better at night knowing you bought at AMTVgold.com. I'm Christopher Greene, hard-hitting it in your face. God bless you, and Jesus Christ is King.